Hey there, rock stars. Welcome to another video for anyone interested in learning a little bit about comparing and ordering integers. Learned this from my friend the gymnast, and he told me something like, he said it was really important for you to understand which plant is really good at gymnastics. Do you know what that would be? Tumbleweed. Let's go with some dad jokes. You're going to be able to take two or more integers and put them in order from greatest to least, or tell which integer is greater than the other after this video. Two pieces of very important vocabulary. Ascending order is our first word. And what that means is we're going to put the numbers in order from the smallest to the largest. So we're going to start with the smallest number and head to the largest. For example, in this scenario below, we're going to start with a 1, and then the next number is 2, 3, 4, 5. So we started with the smallest number, and then we ascended up to number 5. My way to remember this is if you look at the A, that line is going up. So the number values are getting bigger. They're going up. As compared to the opposite, which is descending order, arranging numbers from largest to smallest, such as the opposite, which would be starting with a bigger number, 5, and then going downhill to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1. Next up, we need to make sure we understand the symbols that go with this. Okay, when we're talking about comparing two numbers, we're going to say one is bigger or smaller than the other. Greater than or less than are the first two symbols we're going to work with. So anytime you see a symbol like this, I want you to know that the side that is open, so on this side of the opening is where more stuff is. For example, there could be 4 over here, and over here there's only 2. This side has more, so the symbol opens up to the more. And the way we would read this one would be 4 is greater than 2. This one I think we all should know. That just means it's equal to. So if there's 4 over here, then there must be 4 over here. Okay, and on the other side, let's say we had the same scenario and it looked like this. The 4 is the bigger number, so the greater than is the opening is open to that side. But when we read, just like reading a book, we read left to right, we say 2 is less than 4. Down here is where it gets a little bit different. We still have this greater than, right? So it's saying it's greater than, but it can also be equal to. And so if you look at that straight line, that is literally just the bottom line in an equal sign, okay? So this number over here, let's say it's 7, okay? What integers can go over here on the other side? What integers can go on the other side? Well, if 7 is greater than what? Well, it's greater than 6, it's greater than 5, it's greater than 4, it's greater than 3, and so on and so on and so on. But because it says it can also be equal to, the answer could be 7. So your answer could be 7 is greater than or equal to 7. Or it could have been 7 is greater than or equal to 6. What it cannot be is 7 is greater than or equal to 11, because 11 is bigger than 7. So that makes that statement true. And just like the one up top, it just reverses over here. 4 is less than or equal to, well, 4 is less than or equal to what? Well, it can be 4 because it says it can be equal to it. But that means if this is less than it, this could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those numbers as they keep going, all those integers as they keep going bigger. Now, let's get into some work on its own here. So use the number line to help you put the following integers in ascending order. And then if something's going from ascending order, that means it's going from smaller to larger. It's getting bigger. So when we look at a number line, this is the smaller side and this is the larger side. So once we put them on the number line, it's pretty simple to figure out how to put them in order. So where would negative 30 be? When we look at this first one, where would negative 30 be? Well, here's 0, here's negative 20, here's negative 40. So where would negative 30 be? Well, negative 30 is between negative 20 and negative 40, correct? So negative 30 would be right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put negative 30. And then we look at the 10. Where is 10? Well, if this is 0 and this is 20, where's 10? Halfway between 0 and 20. So this would be 10. Okay. Where would 0 be? That's pretty simple. That's right there in the middle. Right there. So that would be 0. Negative 144. Now that's a bit tougher. Well, we know it's negative, so it has to be on this side, right? So we got negative 20, negative 40, negative 60, negative 80, negative 100, negative 120, negative 140, negative 144. So it'd just be a little bit after it, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be before it, because remember, if we're counting negative, the numbers keep getting bigger that way in representation, but because they're negative, they're actually getting smaller. So negative 144 would probably be somewhere right there. So that's negative 144. And then where's 22? Well, that's a positive number, so we know that has to be on the right side of the 0. Positive 22 would be right after it. So now we've got our integers placed on the number line. Our goal was to put them in ascending order. What's the smallest number? Well, that would be the one that's the farthest to the left. So our number would be negative 144. What's the next smallest? Just negative 30. Then it would be, what's next? 0. What's next? 10. What's next? 22. Now you put your numbers in order or ascending order. Good work. So let's look at this. Now we're just trying to figure out which of these statements is true. And I gave you a number line to kind of use to guide you. Circle all the statements that are true. Negative 5 is greater than or equal to negative 5. Well, that little line underneath says they can be the same number. Is negative 5 greater than negative 5? No. Is negative 5 equal to negative 5? Yes. So that one works. Is 0 greater than negative 1? I'm looking at this one down here in the bottom corner. Is 0 greater than negative 1? Well, here's 0, and here's negative 1. Going this way is bigger. 0 is bigger than negative 1. That one is also true. Let's look at the next one. 1 is less than negative 6. 1 is less than negative 6. Well, here's 1, and here's negative 6. This way is less. The giveaway on this one's pretty simple. 1 is a positive number, negative 6 is a negative number. All positive numbers are bigger than negative numbers. So this one is not true. But it's also, if you look at the number line, negative 6 is farther to the left, so it is not true. And then we go to the next one. Is 6 greater than or equal to 6? Yes, 6 is equal to 6. That works. Is negative 8 greater than or equal to negative 7? Well, here's negative 8, and here's negative 7. Is 8 bigger than 7? No, because 8 is farther this direction than negative 7. So that one does not work. Just a little bit more. Which statement are true if we compare negative 10 and negative 5? This is kind of tricky, so you really got to make sure you're reading this correctly. But I think the most important thing to do is just really put it on a number line, and then let's read each statement. So which statement is true if we compare negative 10 and negative 5? Notice I'm putting that between the negative 4 and negative 6 because one in between there would be negative 5. So negative 10 is less than negative 5. Is negative 10 less than negative 5? Yes, so far that's true because it's going farther in that direction. Because negative 10 lies to the right of negative 5. Negative 10 does not lie to the right of negative 5. It lies to the left of it. So this one is not true. This one says negative 10 is greater than negative 5 because negative 10 lies to the right. Well, negative 10 still does not lie to the right of negative 5. It's still to the left of it. So this is not true. Negative 10 is less than negative 5, which means negative 10 is farther to the left because 10 lies to the left of number 5. Here's 10, and negative 10, and here's negative 5. It does go that direction. So far, this one is true. Let's just check the last one and make sure. Negative 10 is greater than negative 5. No, it's not greater. We can already tell you that's true. Because negative 10, if I lost $10 or I lost $5, I went farther to the left. So it's negative 10 would be less. So this one is not true. So it's that answer. Just got to be careful. Put them on the line. Look for their errors when they show those type of questions. And finally, so it says, which set of these integers is in descending order? Well, what's descending mean? We're going downhill. Descending goes downhill. We have the greatest number first, and we're getting smaller. So let's look at those and the numbers that we have, and look at the first one. And we want to make sure that we have the biggest number first and we're going downhill. So you can look at that first one right off the bat and say, definitely not, because 17 is a big number. And so if we're going downhill and we have positive, negative numbers, our first number should absolutely be a positive number, right? This one does not work. Let's look at this one. We start with 16. That's big. We're going downhill. 8 is smaller than 16. True. 1 is smaller than 8. True. Negative 4 is smaller than 1. True. Negative 11 is smaller than negative 4. True. That one looks like it works because it just kept getting smaller with each one. 3. Is 11 smaller than 3? Nope. 14. Is negative 8 smaller than 14? Yes. Is negative 5 smaller than negative 8? No, it is not. So we got our answer right there. So again, we're just trying to figure out with integers, which is bigger, which is smaller. There we go. What did the tree say to the wind? Leave me alone. You guys have a great time working on comparing and ordering integers, and come back and see me next time you want to work on math.